they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024, and this is episode 623 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Do the Twist, and I'll be chatting about the Indiana Bell Building, signs of civilization, and I definitely forgot something, probably a little bit more, not forgetting something in the show, forgetting something to bring on the road with us, I discovered yesterday. But first, let's check in with the coffee crew, see who's hanging out, grab a cup, and hang out for about an hour. What's up? Good morning, good morning, good morning. How we doing? Oh. Good morning. Pip, James, and K-Bonk having a nice conversation before the show rolled up, and then got a little chauvinistic there at the beginning. At the end, Pip and Rachel put you in your place. Thanks for babysitting, Rachel. I appreciate it. Good morning, Pip. Good morning, James. Good morning, K-Bonk. Backwoods swinging in. Good morning, Hunter over on Twitch hanging out. Good morning, Mike, the Philippine Nomad swinging in over from the Philippines. Thank you. To Chris Dixon. Good morning. We'll take 11 tangents to get through two things. I don't know. I think I'm gonna hit everything. I'm gonna hit everything on the list today. Gingerbread says I forgot a winch. I didn't forget something that I didn't know that I needed. Backwoods Butcher was saying that I likely forgot extra mustard. And good morning, Jim. Good morning. Thanks for hitting the walker, getting out to the chair, and joining us for the morning. Did you fire up the Apple IIe to log on to the show this morning, or what are you viewing us on? Oh. All right. What is in the cup? What is in the cup this morning? I have some of this wonderful pour over Pam, the Peruvian prude. We named Pam the Peruvian light roast that I'm having, or any Peruvian bean. I think that we settled on Pam the Peruvian. It's good. Second or third press out of the bag this morning, and it's solid. It's solid. I haven't tried any of the FTO blonde in the. I haven't tried any of the FTO blonde in the Peruvian yet. Maybe tomorrow. Chris Dixon says Chief Yellowface is talking on the box. Kyle says, stop making fun of my internet advisor. I appreciate you, Kyle. I appreciate you. At least you don't make fun of me to my face. Only offline. Or online and other places. Oh, all right. Well, before we get to the Indiana Bell Building, too ethnic. Jesus. I can't tell you guys anything. I can't tell you guys anything. Now Rachel wants a t-shirt with Chief Yellowface on it. Oh, God. Hey, thanks, Corey, for suggesting I tell that story. Oh, God. Oh, all right. Anyway, I skipped the Daily Stoic thought the last couple days. Not for any particular reason. It's not that I wasn't. It's not that it's not that I was not reading it or didn't find it valuable. It just didn't fit in. But this morning I wanted to drop in yesterday's Daily Stoic thought. You can pick up the Daily Stoic in the link in the video description, audio description from Amazon. It's a daily meditation revolving around Stoic philosophy. It's really good. It's really good. Ryan Holiday did an awesome job with it. I'm really enjoying it. And I see no reason why I wouldn't do it for the whole year and probably continue on again and start over next year. But anyway, yesterday's thought was about um yesterday's thought was about not necessarily having to be on top of everything. Not necessarily having to know every current event happening, um not having to watch every new TV show, not having to watch every minute of news broadcast or know every political wind blowing that happens, or it really dialed down to the circles of influence and circles of control conversation. Like, does it change the temperature of the pool in your backyard? No, then it's not worth your energy. It's not worth it's not worth expending the energy uh worrying about it, because what difference does it make? And we went down the road of, I felt like we've become accidentally prepared, accidentally insulated from a lot of stuff that happens. And it really affords me to just ignore a lot of stuff. But it started happening a long time ago when we quit watching TV, when we dropped direct TV, when we went to over the air antenna, and then when we moved to our farmhouse and we couldn't get over the air antenna, and and we just didn't watch TV at all, except for the occasional old movie on Netflix or Amazon, and not even new movies. We were just watching stuff that we kind of knew that we liked. So um yeah, it saves a lot of brain power when you're not arguing. I mean, I used to be that person, so I'm telling you from experience. I'm not telling you, oh, don't do this, don't do this. Like, I was that person. I knew every news story, every political conversation, every TV show, every sporting event, every stat, and then I stopped, and it was fantastic. So just a thought, just a thought. Pip says his copy of the book was on his desk this morning. Perfect, perfect. Um, Hunter says, then how am I supposed to have my daily dose of existential dread? As existential dread. Um, Man, I got plenty of stuff I can send you daily if you need something to read to make you scared shitless. Um, James wondering if there are current events happening. Chris Dixon, Chris Dixon weighs in with 10 feds gathering around a monitor watching a homeless guy talk about mustard. Sounds like government to me. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you comparing my comparing my comparing my show to government. Oh man. All right. Well, that was Daily Stoic Thought. If you want to pick up that book, you're welcome to follow along. I probably, if I'm going to talk about something from the book, it will be from the day prior. So yesterday, January 30th, was the passage that I just talked about, because I read it after the show. I don't get up and dive in before the show. That way I can set it in and kind of stew on it for the rest of the day and see what comes up of it. Jim says mustard is code. Clearly, mustard is code. Definitely, mustard is code. I love TikTok. The code on TikTok for I think they've come up with the code having cereal for smoking dope, for having salad. I think I've heard multiple people reference it as filling my bowl and having some cereal. Pip says he's got his homework done early. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know. I try to talk about it every day when it's relevant. Obviously, it's all relevant. It's making sense. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know how many people read the book or enjoy the Stoic Thought. Anyway, what is on the list today? The first thing is from yesterday. I carried it over because I find this shit interesting. I It was one of those, and today is actually one, two, um, two of the topics today came from Facebook. Like, I it just happened. Like, they were suggested posts. They were posts of friends on there forwarding stuff along to their page, and I found them interesting. I dug in a little bit, and they were actually interesting. So, Facebook isn't all bad. I'm sure they tracked what I clicked on, and I'll get 8 million of the same thing now. It's not that interesting, but I thought I would bring it to you. The first one was the Indiana Bell Building. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. It's no longer there, from what I understand. It eventually was destructed, imploded, and is no longer there. And there's a large building where it stands. But an interesting thing happened back in 1930. So this is what we're talking about, 1930. I'm going to pull it up on the screen. See if I can pull it up, a picture of it. This isn't the best picture, but this is the article I'm going to reference. Where do I gotta hit it here? So this on the screen, if you're watching the video, is the Indiana Bell Building, and you can see that kind of semicircle to the right of the building. And there's something interesting going on here, and it struck me as amazing. So we're talking about 1930, and this really twists me up a little bit for a lot of things that I think about, like going to the moon in the 60s. Going to the moon in the 60s, going to just different technological things that we accomplished a long time ago, and then we look around today and wait, what? How was that accomplished? So this building that I started looking into, the Indiana Bell Building, I'm gonna drop it off because I gotta scroll on here, and you guys probably can't read the text on there anyway. It's a short little story about this building that they were going to. So what was housed in here was the headquarters for Indiana Bell Telephone Company. So this is where all the operators worked and all the interchange and things like that. So they were going to demolish this building and build a new one. And at that time, one of the architects that designed it, Kurt Vonnegut Sr., Kurt Vonnegut, the name might sound familiar because Kurt Vonnegut Jr. actually was the author, if you've heard of him. This was his dad. He was an architect. He said, no, we're not going to demolish this building and put up another one. Let's turn it to fit where we need it. It happened to be built in the wrong orientation, in the wrong direction. They needed to turn it. If they turned it, they were going to gain the space that they needed to put more buildings with it. So they have an 8-story, 11,000-ton building. And basically, they put together an operation with some engineers and a moving company, like a construction company, and they moved this building 52 feet and rotated it 90 degrees. So in 1930, they basically picked up an 11,000-ton building and moved it and then rotated it. So that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive to me. They used 75-ton hydraulic jacks, big Oregon fir timber trees as rollers. They specially sourced those, brought them in to do this project. And so that's pretty impressive. The more impressive thing to me was they didn't close the building while they did this. They kept the building open. Everybody went to work every day. They had a rotating, flexible entryway that moved with the building as it rotated, and it took about 30 days for this to be accomplished, and no one missed a day of work. The employees said that they didn't even feel the building moving while they were working on it. They didn't lose gas, sewer, water, electricity the whole time. Basically, we're moving the building 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch with every 6 strokes of the hydraulic jacks. So they ended up moving, let me see, I want to get the number right. I want to get the number right. They were moving the building 3/8 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch with every 6 strokes of the jack, and it would move 15 inches per hour. Talk about a project. Talk about a project. Chris Dixon says, when men weren't scared to do the work and Ocean's head just exploded. I mean, I'm serious. Like, I'm thinking about this. Like, I've moved some shit. Like, I've moved some stuff in the factory work I've done. We've moved like lots of big equipment, big to me. And then I see like these mega ships or stuff like that. Um, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really big stuff. Like, I wonder the logistics of moving that stuff. I believe that's millwrighting, isn't it? Is like moving. Would that be considered under the millwright profession? Moving equipment, things like that. I can't remember what that would be called. Um, we used to hire in people a lot when it was out of our scope. Rewilder Life says that I thought putting the casters on the canning shelves and moving it without breaking one was a big deal. Yeah, they had 600 people work every day while they moved up 11,000 ton building and rotated it 90 degrees. Moving and rigging, right? I get that, Jim. Yeah, I know, but is that would that be under the millwright umbrella? I don't know. I don't know. I know there's big money in it. I know there's big money in it. I remember what we paid to have a new boiler brought into one of the places I was working, and it had to go in an elevator, and basically there was less than an inch clearance on all sides. To get it in the elevator door, and then it had to rotate in the elevator, and there was no height clearance, so they had to use these super small slide under casters. It was pretty impressive, and it was pretty impressive. And then I saw the bill, and I was like, well, it should have been impressive. It definitely should have been impressive. So yeah, that I mean, I read that article, and I was just like, I just kind of sat and pondered it for a second. Rewilder Life said without computers, but they weren't as smart as us then. I don't know. I don't know. Like, what happened? What happened that made it so we wouldn't even try to attempt this today? And is that because it's cheaper to knock it down and rebuild it in with the shitty construction methods and the shitty construction we do? Is it not worth saving something and going through the effort of moving it for 30 days? Or is it that we just don't know how to do it? Not that we don't know how to do it. We don't have the will to figure out how to do it or the desire. Is it a throwaway society that we can just like trash it and rebuild it? I mean, they did it with the towers. It's cheaper. Yeah. Back in the 30s when they made things worth saving. James says the building would fall apart today. Back in the 30s when it was worth rotating a building 90 degrees. Mike Homestead says doubt the cost on liability insurance would allow you to do it. Bingo. And Dixon says regulated ourselves out of doing stuff like that. That makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that no one was hurt, no one missed a day of work. They didn't even know the building was moving, but because of regulation and cost of insurance and things like that, that we can't even consider doing something like that. Weird, weird. I don't know. I like it. I like it. I like reading stories like that. Makes me ponder the old days. And was it better? Was it better? I mean, 1930. Nothing was going on in the world in 1930 that they could take the time to sit back and just ponder moving a building. Mike's Homestead name changed from MSU Rifle. I know, man. I guessed that. I put that together. Put it together. It's way easier to read than MSU Rifle. You're gonna make content about Homestead? Probably because of the name. Jesus. Hunter says I don't know if the regulation thing is true or not because they move historical houses. Moving a house and moving an 11-story building, moving a house somewhere to preserve it, and moving an 11-story building in 1930, just like 52 feet and rotating at 90 degrees, I'm guessing is different. And the historical houses are actually built to withstand that. We had three, 6, 10, like a dozen historical houses in the town I grew up in. And man, talk about that stuff. Chris Dixon said must have been an office full of women if they didn't even notice 15 inches a day. It's 15 inches an hour. Like, can you imagine going into work and you park in the parking lot and you walk in and you walk back out at the end of the day and you're like facing a different direction and you're like, where's my car? Oh man. Sorry guys, I was reading that. Interesting. Anyway, that was the Indiana Bell building. If you want to read more about it, there isn't a whole lot about it out there. It sounds like eventually they used it for another like 20 years and then they tore it down. So like all the shit that they did, to move this and make it happen, then they just ended up tearing it down later. So yeah, that's life. That's life. What else? What else is on the list? Okay, Chris Dixon said hit that like thingy, friends. The next thing that I had on the list was posted by a friend on Facebook. The Indiana Bell building actually was a suggested post, so that was spot on. Facebook got it right on that time, guys. They got it right for sure. The next thing on the list was a story shared by someone that I knew growing up in New York, a little older than me. And always has some interesting stuff. That he's thinking about, pondering, or reading. But he posted something yesterday. Let me see if I can. That was a picture. Sorry, guys. I had this all set up, and then this morning things kind of went sideways. So it just took me 2 seconds to pull it up here because I want to read it and I don't know. Sorry. Riveting show here when I can't find my stuff. All right. I'm not going to pull it on the screen. You'll never be able to read it. It's very tiny, but they're talking to an anthropologist, Margaret Mead. And she was doing a class and she was asked by a student what she, as an anthropologist, considered to be the first sign of civilization in culture. and the students all expected her to come back with, fish hooks, tools, things like that. Um, Tools, um, just things physical nature like that. They were very surprised when she said that the first sign of civilization in ancient culture was a femur, femur as in the thigh bone, the largest bone in the human body, a femur that had been broken and then healed. And I I I said, "Wait." And I stopped for a second. I thought about it. And do you see something like this and it is a long post so you know that they explain why. But do you ever stop in the middle of something that and like try to connect the dots? You guys can you guys connect the dots in the comments there why a broken femur why a broken femur that's healed would be a sign of civilization. I thought about it. I did some other things. I thought about it some more and then I came back to it. I saved it as a picture. I saved it as a picture. Um yeah, it was the fact that in nature, in nature, in animals, in packs and just natural beings, human femur, K-bonk. Um it was a healed fracture. It wasn't medicine. Gingerbread says the can't run, the lions would eat you. Basically, yeah. Basically, yes. It was she felt that the first sign of civilization was a healed femur because it showed that someone took the time to take care of the person. They couldn't run away. They couldn't run away from a lion. They couldn't gather food. They couldn't roam with a tribe if they were a hunter and gatherer or a nomadic tribe. They had to take it takes a long time to heal. Pip says the time to heal. The time to heal, the fact that someone took care of them, provided food and shelter and protection for them. In nature, if a lion breaks its leg, if a gazelle breaks its leg, they just leave it. The weak are consumed as food. Dixon says so someone cared for another and that shows civilization. It shows the progression from natural hierarchy and what happens to the weakest in a natural order and that they cared for them. Um Not that they cared for them, that they liked them enough to do it. Well, I mean, I guess there is that, but that they provided all the necessities of life for them because a broken femur isn't you can't like hobble around on a broken femur. I mean, I guess. I guess. I guess. I don't know. It got me thinking, like all this shit is nice. The Indiana Bell building, pondering that. Now, what would you rather think about? Sleepy Joe and how much he pisses everybody off and how what flavor of ice cream he's having, what's going on at the Texas border, what's going on in Israel, what's going on the Bachelorette, what's going on Survivor this week, who's going to how many times are they going to show Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? Or do you want to ponder what really classifies a change to civilization in a culture? Or how in the hell did they move a 11 story or 11 an 8-story 11,000 ton building 52 feet and rotate it 90 degrees in 1930? Hunter said, "Did the Super Bowl happen already?" I don't think so. Super Bowl, is that another weed reference? I gotta I gotta fill my Super Bowl with cereal, guys. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna turn on some Taylor Swift. Pip says animals protect their packs by getting rid of the weak, by leaving it behind. Animals don't bring along the injured; they leave them. I experienced this many times with rabbits. The kits that were half alive or sick or not going to make it, the mom would just, or they were dead already, stillbirths. Mama rabbit would eat them, like completely consume them. And it's basically so that they don't rot in the nest and attract predators. James says, "Wait, the Jews are fighting the Muslims." Did you miss it in the news, man? It just happened recently. what? What? Backwoods Butcher says, "I think now that I have a social media presence, I'm going to apply to be on Survivor again." Don't make me watch Survivor. Don't make me watch that. It was bad enough 25 years ago when it came out. I can't believe it's still on. I can't believe it's still on. Man, I need to cut my hair. Holy crap. Sorry. Sorry. Shiny thing. Shiny thing. Anyway, so that I thought both of those things I thought both of those things kind of really tied in well with that stoic, the stoic thought. And it's been over a couple days, and it's amazing to me with the daily stoic. Back to that, back to where we started. Um, how much it ties into already what's going on. I, Jim says Kyle needs to get on Naked and Afraid. Who doesn't want to see him blurred out? They'd have to shave him in order to be required to blur him out. But the Daily Stoic, I pick it up, and it routinely on a daily basis will make me think of something that I'm already pondering. I'm already working on. I don't feel like it's a ton of new stuff. It's really focusing in on what matters. Dixon, have you Chris Dixon, have you gone and visited Kyle? He says he's like a Sasquatch, no blurring needed. If you join the Meet the Critters Telegram group, you can scroll back and see a picture of topless Kyle dancing at a wedding, sober. Oh, anyway, yeah, I thought those tied in. Um Wait. Holy crap, I didn't know this. Let's get this on the screen. Kyle said I was going on Naked and Afraid. I was going to be on the North Dakota episode, but my oldest was going to be born while I was naked in the woods. Wait, what? Oh wait, he was strip teasing to Pony when he was half naked at the wedding reception. Good morning, Pickle Pete. How we doing? We're drinking Pam, pour over Pam, the Peruvian prude this morning, and it's fantastic. It's fantastic. You've missed a lively discussion about the Daily Stoic, the Indiana Bell building, what determines the dawn of civilization in a culture, and Kyle naked. You're welcome. for the recap. So what did I forget? What did I forget for to bring with us? Corey and I really went down a long path. It was probably two years ish, really determining what we wanted to bring with us, what we wanted to what we needed to bring with us, what we wanted to downsize, what we had room for, multi-purpose things. We really took a long time. First in a planning stage, and then in a purging stage, and then in a final decision stage, when we were really packing up and getting ready to sell the place and leave. We didn't keep a storage locker. We didn't keep anything like that. We brought what we could with us, and weight and size were our limiting factors. We've been very happy with transition minimalist life since we've left. We've purged more things. We've gotten rid of more things. We've determined that we have, probably the happier we are. We really are liking the idea and the concept of living with, not living with less, just not accumulating shit. So I've been pretty good. We've been on the road for a year and a third now, a year and a quarter, somewhere around there. And I can't think of something that I was like, I picked it up, I looked at it and decided to not keep it, and then I needed it. Like, there were things that we've needed to pick up, but they weren't things that I threw out, donated, sold, things like that, and then needed. We had a big honking printer and scanner and all that. Like, we bought a printer. We bought a more appropriate printer when we needed one. We bought a small one that fits and stores easy. So like that was something. But I can't recall in the last year, over a year, something that I picked up and I was like, or I went to grab and I didn't have it, and I was like, I really made a bad decision and threw this out. James says a winch. I didn't have a winch on my truck at home. I had a winch on my four-wheeler. And until you mentioned it, I never even considered it. So no, not a winch. Yesterday I took all those packages that UPS dropped off, and yeah, Hunter, I have it on my list. I hopefully get to the news about UPS. Rolls right into this week's conversation. But anyway, I was opening and doing videos on all the new stuff I got. One of the products I got was aftermarket Starlink gear. So I got a longer extension cable that has the Starlink ends on it. They're like a proprietary end. I guess not anymore. Somebody scanned it with a 3D scanner and printed them out and know what they're doing now. But basically, it was a Cat 6 cable with proprietary ends on it. Well, this company came up, figured out how to make the ends, and so they sent me out a long cable. It's longer than the one that came with the system. They make them up to 300 feet long, so that was cool. The other thing they sent me was a conversion kit, adapter kit, so that you could take your own Cat 6 cable, or you can use a high-end Cat 5. They say just for stability and speed's sake, you use high-end Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable. But basically, you can plug this cable into these adapters, and it adapts to the Starlink ends. So now you're not beholden to Starlink to buy their cable if something happens. If you want to use it for some different installation applications, adding routers or switches or things into the system, you can still now use regular Cat 6, which is super cool. It might not be a big deal if you don't have Starlink, but they really take advantage of you on buying their equipment when there wasn't any other option. So this company had approached me. They sent stuff out. I was excited to get it. It looks quality stuff. It looks it doesn't look janky at all. And not 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 to say that you couldn't cut the Starlink cable and resplice it, that you couldn't put an RJ45 end on it if you wanted and use that for those application purposes. It is basically Ethernet cable with specialty ends on it. So you can cut it if you know what you're doing. The majority of people out there aren't going to do that with $100 cable, a $200 cable. Cut the end off it and splice something else on. So I got the packages. I opened them up. The stuff looks really quality. I knew I didn't have a Cat 6 cable. I knew I didn't have a Cat 6 cable. And I wanted to test the product appropriately. I wanted to use it to their specs. So I didn't want to use like a Cat 5 to test it. Like I want to give it a fair shake if I'm going to use it. So I ordered a Cat 6 cable. I ordered a flat cable thinking that would work better, getting it through like the different places that you can get it in through the camper wall. Basically next to the slides is a place that you can feed a cable through. Some different places there's a gap, but a round cable probably wouldn't work. So I went with the flat cable. They're pretty cool. They're easier to store. They roll up nicer. I think that flat cables are really nice. They don't coil up. They just roll up. I started using them when I was service tech. Good morning, John Palmer. Thanks for swinging in. And so I started testing the stuff. It looks really cool. It comes with a waterproofing kit, so it can be used indoor and outdoor, because obviously the dish has to go outdoors, so your cable is going to be outside. The connection is going to be outside in the winter or in the weather. And yeah, I picked it up and I looked at the waterproofing kit, and basically, I don't know if you've ever used them, but it's a collar that goes on it, and there's a little rubber grommet that goes around the cable. And as you tighten it down, it squeezes the rubber grommet. Well, the rubber grommet has a round circle in it, and when it squeezes, it's meant to squeeze around a round cable. So I bought the wrong cable, basically. My fault. There's no reason why I would have thought about that. I mean, there is if I really dove into it. But anyway, regardless, I bought the wrong cable. I was like, all right, no problem. I can't do the testing on that. I can still do the testing on the whole cable they sent me, not just the adapters. I'll order up a new Cat 6 cable. I'll return the one I got, no problem. But then I got done recording all the videos of the products that I had, and I was like, well, I could really do a demo on these waterproofing kits, how to put together the whole thing, because it could get confusing. Like I'm lucky I have a lot of experience with them from my tech job, from my maintenance jobs. We used a lot of those things. We used a lot of those in my industry. So I'm familiar with them. I looked at it, I knew exactly how it went together. But I could see that people ordering this might not understand how they go together, how they work. So I was like, oh, I'll just do a quick demo video. It'd be perfect. So I went inside and I started looking around. Is it a bulkhead fitting? Nah. I don't think it's a bulkhead fitting. It's a water seal. It's a waterproofing. Would it be considered a bulkhead fitting? I don't know. Anyway, I went inside. I started looking through my cables. I started looking through everything, and I'm like, I gotta have a patch cable. If you don't know what a patch cable is, it's like anywhere from a foot long to a 5 foot long Cat 5 or Cat 6 cable with an RJ45 end on it. Ethernet, the big one, the one that's a little bigger than the telephone, looks similar. And so I started poking around in my stuff. I'm like, I know I have one. I had hundreds of these things when I was a service tech and on the farm. Every piece of equipment comes with one. You never use them. You just throw them in a pile. And it's called a gland. Thanks, K-Bonk. I couldn't pull that out of my butthole. I couldn't pull it out of my gland. It must have been cranked down too tight. I couldn't pull it out of my gland. Uh, anyway, I looked and I looked and I looked. No cable. No, not one RJ45 fitting anywhere in the camper. I found my bag of cables, my cables of cables, my bag of just random cables. I had USB A, USB C, USB micro, 16 different types of 16 different I did. Chris Dixon says Brian goes minimalist and keeps a box full of random cables. I have, it's not a box, it's a quart size Ziploc bag with them all coiled up real nice and with cable ties and everything, and they're all stacked in there, and the thing is like literally packed so tight that I think if I put anything else in it, the sides would bust out. So I pull all of those cables out. USB A, USB C, USB micro, USB mini, fucking magnetic connections, weird proprietary, and all sorts of shit. Not one. I got regular telephone cable in there. What the fuck am I going to use a regular telephone line for? Not one RJ45 connector or Ethernet cable of any type in that whole bag. And I'm like, what the hell? Why would I not have that? And so I'm like, this is infuriating. So I went outside and did some other stuff, and I'm like, there's got to be some place that I have this. I emptied the back of the truck, which needed to be done anyway. I was like, oh, I got a storage tote in the back. I got extra shit in there. I know I got another bag of cables or something. Cleaned out the back of the truck, pulled everything out, found my tote. Didn't find my tote in the back of the truck. Realized I'd put it under the camper when we put the skirting on for just some more room to haul wood. Didn't find it in the back of the truck. Found it under the camper. No RJ45, no cable, nothing. And I'm like, what? Blew my mind that I don't have an RJ45 cable. I'm not overestimating when I say I probably threw away over 100 when I cleaned out my van on a regular basis. Like, they were every part for a gas pump that had an RJ45 connection, which was a lot of them in networking in a gas dispenser. You wouldn't think of it, but every part that had a RJ45 jack came with a patch cable. So every time I installed a part, I don't want to say every time, 98% of the time I installed a new part, the cable was good. And so that just got tossed in the van. Might need it. And eventually the pile got so big, you just throw them away. I also had them at home. I had cables upon cables. I had a box of 250 RJ45 cable ends and a cable tool to make my own fucking cables. None of it. I got none. I don't know. It blew my mind. The first time. I mean, I guess for the first time in a year and a half, I found something that I didn't bring that I needed, and I really didn't need it. Like, I can still make it work. I'll go to Walmart. I actually contemplated. They've been putting fiber in around here, and it's not turned on yet. And so they have all the drops to run the fiber across the street to the residences on the other side of the street, and there's a few of them on our dog walk, and I was literally thinking about opening up one of the boxes and see if there were any patch cables in there. Either borrowing one if it was hooked up, like just remembering what it was plugged into and taking it and putting it back the next day. I don't know. Uh, James says I have a pack out box with all my cabling stuff, RJ45 coax, etc. Hey, what is the technical name for the telephone cable jack, the smaller one? RJ45 is Ethernet, the larger one. What is the cable end for a telephone line connection? I don't remember what that number is. Somebody in the audience knows. K-Bonk says USB cables. Everything's going to USB. Everything. And actually, in my shopping cart to pick up right now, I have a USB voltage tester. Dixon says telephone cable. Thanks. Thanks. Oh, man. Jesus. Yeah, I'm picking up a USB voltage tester, which is going to be really cool. One of the products I got yesterday was RJ11. Is that serious, Jim? I figured no wonder the old guy came up with the old school telephone connector. One of the other products I got yesterday that I was testing out is a little combo pack. It's a 15-watt solar panel, portable. It's pretty cool. It seems pretty durable. Basically, it folds up into the size of a little tablet. And when you open it up, you can like hang it on a backpack, hang it in a tree. And then I also got this mini little lantern that charges from that and has a little battery bank in it. Be great probably for a bug out bag. The combo itself would be great. It'd be great for a bug out bag, a camping pack, things like that. The lantern itself, or the lantern and the mini or the solar panel. But I'm curious what kind of power that actually puts out. The output from the panel is either USB-A or USB-C. And I was like, I don't know how to test the output voltage on a USB port. Thanks, John, confirming the RJ11 telephone plug. I kind of knew that in the back of my head, but I just couldn't remember. I haven't used them enough. I was wondering how to test the voltage coming out of a coming out of a USB port. So I started looking into it. And it's really it's interesting. Like the cables in the port, the cables in the USB cable, there's data and there's power. There's several wires. Sounds like maybe 6 to 8, depending on the cable or on the USB cable and what it's designed to do. Some are designed for data only. Some are designed for data and power. Some are designed for power only. And it really depends on what's hooked up. So, in order to measure the power output, it sounded like I'd have to cut the cable and find the power lines. Found the two power cables inside the whole cable. And so I went on Amazon. I did a little looking, and man, for like $25, you get this little power adapter, or this little adapter, and it's basically has USB-A in and USB-A out, USB-C in, USB-C out, and you plug it into your port. You put it in line, basically. So I would plug that into my solar panel output and plug my lantern into the adapter output. and then it just reads the inline voltage. It reads voltage, it reads amps, it reads everything. It's really cool. K-Bong says an oscilloscope. That is basically the other way to do it. So I'm going to spend the $25 and get the digital readout display. This thing is cool for doing some troubleshooting, for doing some testing. I'm going to use it to do testing on stuff I have to do videos and content. But it would be a little handy device to have around to test cables. That's what they're on Amazon for. You know, when you got the USB cable and it just doesn't seem to be working anymore, your charging cables or your connection cables, you can grab this and plug it in and really decide if it's worth holding on to it. So I'm excited to order that up and do a little testing with it. It's in my Amazon cart. Once I grab it and make sure that it works as it should, I'll probably throw a video out or links or things like that. So that's on the plans. That's on the plan. Dixon, have a great day. Chris, have a great day. I appreciate you hanging in and contributing to the comments. Let's see. Got a Blackbeard Firestarter demo video out. If you guys didn't see that on the YouTube channel, be sure to swing by and check that out. Basically, open up a package of the fire plugs, check out what they look like, go through the instructions, and use one real quick. I'm going to do a lot more product demos for that. On the different ways to use them, how waterproof they are, things like that. But this was just basically open it up, grab one, and see how easy they are to use. And it was super easy. So check that video out. They're pretty cool. I think it'll probably be a pretty good relationship between my brand and theirs. I think we could do a solid stroke of business. They got some really other cool products. I'm looking at either ordering up or see if they'll send me out. They got some windproof lighters. They have some other survival stuff. John Palmer says they ordered some of those. Awesome. 8+ channel data and intel that a car uses in a matter of seconds will scare the shit out of the problem solver. Oh man. Anyway, I didn't get to my medical IPO that I saw yesterday. That will go on the list. Oh, John Palmer says great video. I appreciate it, John. I appreciate all the comments on the video, man. I really it helps for sure with the SEO and getting it out there. And yeah, I appreciate those every day, man. K-Box says, have a great day and treat your gland well. I got to get my cable first. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be talking about a new medical IPO that I looked into. It popped up on my Robinhood. I will definitely share that tomorrow because as I dug into the webpage, expecting to find just more pills and more prescriptions, I was surprised with what I found. I was definitely surprised to what I found, and I will share that tomorrow. Yeah, guys, if there's anything else if you want to talk about a topic, if you guys want me to talk about a topic, if there's anything you want me to bring up, you can always email me, send me a message on Telegram, or send me send me a message on Noster, Facebook, any of the socials, through the website, anything. If there's something you guys want to check out. John Palmer says, as a guy without a cable, I felt less of a man. I felt like less of a man when I couldn't go to my cable bag and pull out a goddamn Ethernet cable. So Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all listening. If you enjoyed the show, it's always free to hit that like and share and subscribe to return value for value to me. Please consider joining one of the YouTube membership tiers or listening on any value for value platform like Podverse, Wavelake, or Fountain.fm. Visit thelotsproject.com to find more information or find all my links. It's hump day, guys. Try to get over that hump. Once you're over it, it's on the downhill slide to the weekend. Make it a productive day. Remember what the Daily Stoic said yesterday. Hey, you don't have to stay on top of everything. Ignore the news. Ignore the media. Ignore the glitz, the pop culture, and all that, and focus on things that are going to make your life better and that will actually affect you today, tomorrow, or going forward. Have a great day, guys, and we'll catch you all tomorrow.